whispers, one curse, the nameless group, the ghosts, not the ones in white dresses that scream, not the ones white. I'm talking about something scream in the hallway, real shadow. I'm talking whispers you never tell, but hear every real shadow. Dream, whispers you never tell, but never live the same breeze. They all heard the same word. A child never lived at the same time. A lonely sailor accidentally named something. They all heard the same. A girl who grew up alone. A child who survived. Andre huddled with someone. They were watching the rock accident. Three stories. Three seemingly unrelated fates, but sewn together by an invisible thread. Dark the thick air the past is still hunger, the beginning of evil. My name is Andre. I don't remember exactly what season I was born in. I only remember that it was always cold, so cold that even the soul shrank. I lived in a small village in the Ivalac region, a place where after the war people said there was nothing left but ghosts and hunger. When the last bakery closed, when the dogs began to disappear from the streets, people began to whisper to each other, "Someone is eating people." Andre lived with his mother in a wooden hut. His father and brother died in the war. My mother used to be a teacher, but now she no longer reads books. She just mumbles to herself. My mother used to sing me lullabies every night, but now she whispers words that I don't understand, words that are not meant for the living. Mother sat by the fireplace, her eyes lifeless. She scratched her neck until the skin was raw, holding a piece of hair in his hand. Licking out of habit, Andre felt scared. He began to follow his mother at night. Many times, he saw her standing next to an empty soup pot, dipping her hand in it, sucking her finger. Once, Andre heard her say, "He's very weak, but still has soft flesh." I never met my brother, Stephen. Mom said he was killed by a bomb, but she once let it slip. He's still very soft, like veal. One night, Andre asked about Stephen again. Mom trembled and laughed. He's gone so far that there are no bones left. He began to doubt. The day Mom served me the soup, I knew something was very wrong. The meat in the bowl was dark. The fat was scum, but there was no smell of pork or beef. Andre sniffed, then vomited. Mom got angry, muttering, "You have to eat or you'll be weak. And if you're weak..." Andre went without food for 2 days. The hunger made him tremble. The third night, he sneaks a taste, a small spoonful. It tastes salty, fishy, and metallic. He vomits blood. Mom laughs in the corner. "Good. You start." I woke up in the middle of the night. I heard the sound of chewing and the smell of burnt bones. Andre walks out of the room. He sees Mom tearing something apart. A human arm, purple. On her finger is the neighbor's wedding ring. Andre wants to scream, but he can't. Mom turns around, her eyes red, her mouth bleeding. "Are you awake, son?" She steps closer, holding out a piece of meat. "He's a good person. You should eat him." I run, but the tent is too small. Mom grabs my hand. Her nails are long like claws. Her skin is brown. Half her teeth are missing. She's not my mom anymore. Andre tries to pull away. Blood is pouring down her wrist. He stabbed her in the face with a candle, and ran out the door, running through the snow. She shouted behind him, "You're too weak, Andre. You'll starve and come back." Andre ran until he collapsed. The small tent was hidden behind the trees. Andre's voiceover, I thought I had escaped, but the hunger didn't leave me. It stayed inside me. I used to think that if I just ran away from my mother, I would be safe. But no one told me. When people eat human flesh, they don't just die from the outside. They die from the inside. And sometimes they never come back. Andre grew up, standing quietly in the middle of a crowded street. But his eyes were still as empty as the boy he was back then. Dear David, when the third question is asked, I am Adam, an artist. I live alone in a third-floor apartment in Manhattan. I used to think, in this noisy city, loneliness was a safe thing, until I met David. Image. Adam sat quietly drawing, surrounded by cats. The table lamp dimmed. No friends, no voices, just the ticking of the clock and the cat scratching at the door. That night I had a dream, but it was not an ordinary dream. It was as clear as life. Image, a moonlit room. A rocking chair shook gently. A boy sat on it, his head crooked to one side, his eyes sunken. David looked up. I can ask you 2 questions, but don't ask a third one. Adam, who are you? David, my name is David. I woke up in a cold sweat. My heart was pounding, but I kept telling myself it was just a dream. Fast editing, camera playing with dim light, soft background music whistling. Cats gathered outside the door every night at midnight, purring incessantly. The lights in the house flickered. The rocking chair turned slightly when Adam turned his back. Objects shifted. A paintbrush fell from the table to the floor. Adam installed a camera, capturing a shadow gliding down the hallway. I started keeping a diary. But the more I wrote, the more I felt like I was being watched, as if every word had a pair of eyes reading it with me. I dreamed of David again. The room was darker. The wind was blowing. The window was wide open. David was still sitting there, his head tilted, as if his neck was broken. Dialogue in the dream. Adam, how did you die? David, screaming, they pushed you down the stairs. I was speechless. But then I asked another question. I don't know why I said it. Why are you here? David raises his head. The smile is emotionless. The rocking stops. The lights go out. Adam wakes up, but the window is open and the chair is still shaking. The cuts are fast. The music is pounding, horror style. Adam checks his phone. There are photos of himself sleeping. The photos are shaky. The light is pale blue. Each photo is a step closer, until it's clear to see a small shadow standing next to the bed. I dropped my phone. The room was frozen. I heard breathing right next to my ear. POV. Adam turns his head. No one is there. But behind him, the frosted mirror reflects David's silhouette. A knocking sound, knock, knock, comes from the wall. The refrigerator opens. The lights flash. The curtains flutter despite the lack of wind. I decided to leave the house. I didn't care where. Just go. Adam pulled the suitcase, opened the door, but none of it opened. The main door, the window, the balcony. Everything seemed locked from the outside. The cat howled in the room. The lights kept flashing. Adam screamed, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked. Spare me. I heard little footsteps. Creepy, cold, running around me. Adam ducked under the table, shivering. A text message appeared on his phone. I warned you. A child's voice sounded close to his ear. You asked the third question. Now it's my turn. A soft laugh. David's eyes lit up in the darkness. I don't remember when I fainted. I just know the next morning I was still alive. But from then on, I never dreamed again. Because David didn't need to dream to come see me. Adam looked into the mirror. Behind his shoulder was David. But when he turned around, there was nothing. Love is hangs. Memories from a cult. My name is Christina Babin. I lived for 19 years in a place that people called the House of God. But if God ever lived there, he left a long time ago. Image. Dark studio. Camera closes on Christina's eyes. Something warm and broken at the same time. Slow cut to the past. We lived in a segregated camp. No internet. No newspapers. No letters. Apart from the thick books of the cult leaders' teachings, the outside world was dirty, and we were chosen. Fast forward image. Waking up at 4 a.m., praying in unison, eating a handful of thin porridge, lining up to learn the scriptures. Children with shaved heads, dressed in white. No one was allowed to ask where the missing person went. Any question was considered objectionable. We weren't allowed to cry. If anyone cried, they were taken away for purification. Punishment sounds like a blessing, but it was hell. Image, a dark room filled with burning incense, children locked up, chanting amid the smoke, crying drowned out by the loudspeaker sermon. The empty eyes of the children after their return. They taught us that love is devotion. Devotion means unconditional obedience. Christina remembers the first time her spiritual father stroked her hair, calling her beloved daughter. Hugs that lasted longer than necessary. Lectures about offering your body to prove your faith. I began to see something was very wrong. The girls younger than me called to serve souls. When they came back, their eyes were dead. Image, the girls being led into a back room. When they came out, silent, trembling. Christina recalled the words of an older sister. I used to be like you, but now I know love is to endure in silence. That night, Christina heard a choke scream. A little girl calling her mother's name. No one answered. She was dragged away. I started to remember the time of the changing of the guard, the camera positions. The northern fence had a weak spot. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew if I stayed, I would die. Image, Christina mopping the floor, but her eyes were on the guards, drawing a small map with charcoal in her prayer book. She had hidden dry food, rope woven from bed sheets. The fateful night, stifling heat, the sound of cicadas. She crept out of the bedroom. I ran. Footsteps behind me grew closer. Flashlights swept through the trees. They called my name. They ordered me to come back. That God is watching. The dark forest scene, branches whipping in her face, blood dripping down her legs. Christina gasps. A white van speeds up. A man jumps out. Christina, is that you? It's her biological father, the one who was declared a dead apostate. Christina falls into his arms, and for the first time feels unconditional love. I never went back there, but the nightmares repeat in my sleep. Whispers behind the curtains, footsteps in the empty hallways. Present day. Christina walks out of the counseling center. A little girl sits waiting for her eyes full of hope. I got out, but many are still held back. Now, I'm the one who reaches out, because no one is worthy of calling those chains love. Christina walks into the conference room, holding up a sign that reads, "Love should never hurt." Below the words is a picture of a broken iron ring, like a shackle that has just been broken. Interlaid, whispers in the night. We are in different places, but the darkness always speaks the same language. Slow motion. Andre lies huddled in the snow. Adam sits in a rocking chair, shivering. Christina opens her eyes in the dark room. Whisper overlay. See? They're coming. Don't turn around. Why do you ask? Love isn't real. The night after I ran away from my mother, I fell asleep in the snow and dreamed of a room I'd never known. Inside there was a rocking chair. Scene, Andre opens his eyes in the dark room, sees the chair shaking slightly. Then a child approaches, head misshapen. It's David. David, hello. Andre in a panic, who are you? David, I was hungry too, but not because of my stomach. I woke up with mud in my mouth, but my heart was pounding. I had never felt so watched. I was adjusting the camera when suddenly I saw a picture that I had not taken. There were 3 people, me, a child, and a girl with messy hair standing behind me. The camera shot Christina standing behind Adam, but blurry, like a ghost. I've never seen her, but I heard whispers. Whisper, run, before they start the cleaning. Adam turned his head. Empty, but the bell from far away was still ringing. I was mopping the floor when I heard a whisper right behind my head. You have to eat or you'll be very weak. Christina turned around. No one, but there was a muddy boot print on the floor. I've never been out of the camp, but in my dream, I saw an old woman, eyes as deep as black holes. She said, we all serve the same thing, under different names. We thought we were alone, but we all heard the same call. Andre's hunger, David's darkness, Christina's obedience all lead to the same place. Andre stood in the snowy forest. Adam sat in the cold moonlight. Christina walked through the dark corridor. Each of them turned their heads at the same time. Whispers piled up. You see it, right? They're coming closer. They live in blood, in faith, and in silence. A pair of eyes open in the darkness, belonging to no one.